Hello everyone, this is Dr. Ilyas from the Department of Education, Hazara University, Mansehra. Today I'm going to discuss with you an important aspect of the process of research or thesis writing, and that is actually structuring your thesis. In many cases, students find it difficult, research students find it difficult to properly structure their thesis. As a matter of fact, research as a process itself is a process of structuring of knowledge. Research applies the scientific method, and the scientific method actually is the process of structuring of knowledge and systematizing knowledge. So, in this particular presentation, I would like you to think about how to actually structure the thesis or the research process that you conduct as students or as junior researchers. So here we go. One of the ways in which I personally structured my own thesis as a PhD student was actually to ask these three fundamental questions. The question of what, of why, and of how. And all of these three questions are quite important in terms of structuring your research thesis. So we go ahead and actually explore what do we mean by this particular structuring. So the what question that you should ask yourself is as thesis even in the or either in the beginning of the research process or structuring of the thesis or towards the end when you are actually writing the report of the thesis. So the what question includes the what is the topic about. This is the question that actually you need to answer in the beginning of the thesis. And the what question also include what methods or designs that you want to apply in your research or that other people have actually applied in similar researches that you are conducting. Similarly, what are the main findings of your research and other people's research related to your research? So that will also be an essential part of the structuring of the thesis. Then, what do you conclude from other people's researches and findings and from your own findings? And what do you suggest? What do you suggest in the light of the findings of other people, other researchers, and in the light of the findings of your own research? So that's the first thing that can actually help in structuring our thesis, and that is asking the question what. Then comes the second question, and that's why. So what topic have you selected? That's the beginning. But then the next question that can actually help you in structuring your thesis is the why question. So why this topic? That actually means giving a rationale for your study or giving the significance. It also reflects the significance or the importance of your study. Why are you conducting that? Similarly, why this particular research design or why this particular paradigm that you are including in your thesis? And then why these data collection and analysis methods that you have included or you are planning to include in your thesis? Why not other designs? Why not other methods? And similarly, why these conclusions, the conclusions that you have got to towards the end of your thesis, and why these recommendations that you are giving. So the second structuring thing that can happen will be in response to our question of the why of our research. Then the third question that can help in structuring our thesis is the how question. So how was the research design implemented? The research design that came up when in response to our what question will then need to be implemented. And so how are we going to implement that particular research design, or how we implemented the research design at the time of when we are actually writing the report? How was the data collected? How was data sources accessed? How was data analyzed? How was the research process and data validated? And how were ethical considerations followed? All of these questions will actually give a structure to your thesis in terms of the how or the methodology section of your thesis. And so then we move to the final part of this presentation and kind of concluding it. So the questions of what, why, and how actually can help in organizing and structuring your thesis. So what is the research problem that you are actually exploring, or what is the topic? Then what design did you adopt for, or do you want to adopt for your study? And what are the main findings and conclusions of your study? The why. So why this research problem, or why this topic? This actually reflects the rationale and significance of your research. Why this particular design? So if you have adopted a quantitative design or a qualitative design or a mixed design, why did you design that? This will also give structure to your thesis. And then why these findings and why these conclusions? These actually mean critically looking at your findings and your conclusions. And so these will happen in the light of the findings of other studies and the conclusions of other studies. So the why question towards the end will also be very important, and it will give structure to your thesis. And then the how question. So how was this particular research problem formulated? How did the researcher get to actually choose this particular topic? Then how was the research designed, or how was the methodology explored? And then how were the findings and conclusions reached to? And so basically the research thesis, in terms of structuring it, the what, why, and how are important questions. And so what you are doing, how you will do it, or how you did it, and why did you do it, or why you want to do it. These are the questions that are fundamental questions that will help a lot in actually structuring your research thesis. So from the very beginning, you need to think in the terms of these questions in order to give your research thesis or your research project or your research paper a particular structure. And so this structure will actually help in organizing your ideas on the paper and in the field, and actually in writing the report towards the end of the research process. Thank you very much for watching and for your attention. And as always, if you have questions, and I hope there will be questions, please share your questions and comments in the comment section of this presentation. Thank you very much.